Robert, how are you doing tonight?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good. How excited are you to premiere finally season 3, second part?
Really excited. I always have this stopgap of things I can talk about, and every time an episode airs, I can talk about more, so it gets a little bit easier. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to those episodes coming out.
So what can we expect from the comics to turn up coming up? Spoilers, right?
Yeah, I can't tell you that. You know, there's always going to be really cool, unexpected things. I mean, I'm really happy about the fact that this show is vastly different from the comic at times, and then it'll just kind of sneak up on you, and there'll be a scene that's exactly from the comic, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming at all. So I like the fact that we can keep people guessing, even if they've read the comic book series. And I will say, you know, there's a few scenes like that coming up in these next few episodes where, you know, you're just kind of moving along, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I remember that from the comic, but I didn't know that was going to happen now. So some really cool stuff.
Exactly. We read the comics and huge fans of it, especially with all of the Governor. I mean, they've really taken that. I felt more connected to how they brought him here, and then I was a little disappointed Michonne didn't use the spoon for the eye. Just
well, you clearly got issues, but that's okay. Yeah, I think, you know, when it came time to plan out season 3, one of the things we wanted to do was take a more nuanced, slower approach into the Governor to really get people invested in David Morrissey's character in a different way than we did in the comic book. In the comic book, he was much more harsh very quickly, and we wanted to kind of peel back those layers a little bit slower in the TV show to, I guess, kind of fool people into liking him more as we went along, and I think it's worked out.
What originally inspired you to start writing the comics, being involved in that?
I mean, it's my love of the zombie genre and my hatred of how all of those stories usually end, where, you know, it's the end of the movie and everybody's gonna die. You know, I really wanted to see, you know, how people exist in these kind of environments long term. You know, what survival, you know, tactics people would have to take in order to, you know, find food and find shelter and just continue to exist year after year. Because one of the things that I've always liked about the zombie genre is the fact that there's no fixing this world. You know, these things are out there. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle. If you survive for 10 years, you're going to be dealing with zombies for 10 years. And to me, that's a really interesting 10 years. So I'm hoping that we get to tell that story in the show just like we're telling it in the comic book.
So if there was a zombie apocalypse, out of all the lessons that Walking Dead has taught us, which one do you think is the most important to keep in mind?
Don't trust anyone. I don't know, don't drink the water. I mean, there's a lot.
How to use a samurai sword.
Yeah, samurai swords are good. That's good. Yeah. I mean, be careful when you're driving on the road, even though, you know, it seems like there's no one out there. You may hit a zombie and wreck. I mean, there's a lot of good lessons to be learned.
Keep an eye out. And I also hear Invincible is coming out. How are you excited about that?
Invincible's doing really well as a comic. You know, I'm very excited about that. I'm really, you know, hoping that it'll find new life in another medium. But you know, we'll see. Maybe someday. But yeah, I mean, we just hit issue 100, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, we're going strong.
Maybe it'll after Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, you never know. People will say, "Oh, those zombies are really cool. Now let's see some more superheroes on TV."
Move them to television from, you know, the silver screen.
Yeah. Who knows?
Next thing. Well, thank you so much, Robert.
Thanks a lot. It's great talking to you.